Revival Muslims presents you another Islamic audiobook by Sheikh Mir Asadullah Quadri.
This book contains detailed account of the history of Salafi belief about God. It is an interesting book for all Muslims. Contents. Salafi beliefs about God. Salafis, Deobandis and their like-minded groups believe in a sky God who has 2 hands, 2 eyes, a face, a mouth and tongue in his mouth, 2 shins, legs, fingers and hands and feet, and a huge human-like physical body, who is sitting on a big chair on the skies in a certain direction. They say that this huge sky idol has limitations on his movements as he cannot come near human beings, therefore, knows about them only by his knowledge. They call this deity as Allah. It is important to understand the perception of God by Salafis, Christians, and Hindus who worship idol gods in different formats. Salafis call their sky god as Allah because God is translated in Arabic as Allah. Islamic perception of Allah is completely different from the idolized perception of Hindus, Salafis, Christians, and other people. Salafis also claim that their sky idol god is one of its kind, self-made, independent, neither beget nor begotten. They also claim that their sky god has created this universe. They worship this sky idol and prostrate in front of him 5 times a day during their prayer. Ibn Baz, 1910 to 1999, the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia wrote, "Their sky god has 1. A physical body, al-jism, 2. He is physically sitting on the sky, and 3. He has limbs, hands, eyes, tongue, face and other body parts." Ibn Taymiyyah, 1263 to 1328, one of the founders of Salafism, described the physical characteristics of their sky god as follows. The sky god needs, meaning the god is not independent and not self-subsistent. 2. He is divisible, meaning the gods can be many, but ultimately it is one entity only. This belief is exactly identical to the belief of Christians and Hindus. 3. He settles in a place. 4. He has 6 directions, up, down, left, right, front, back, meaning the sky god has a physical body. The sky god is sitting above the skies and his face is in a certain direction. 5. He has limitations, no one but he knows about it. Even his place, dwelling, has a limitation which is on the 7th sky. Thus the sky god has 2 limitations of movements. 6. He has a size of his body. 7. He must be creating continuously. He can choose what to create, but he cannot choose whether to create or not. Meaning, he is helpless, has no choice but to create continuously. 8. He is not mixed with his creation, but is sitting alone separately on the sky. 9. He has 2 real eyes, 2 real hands, a real, human-like, face and other limbs. His face and other limbs are known to him only. Ismail Dehelwi, 1779 to 1831, one of the most famous scholar who is held in high respect by Deobandis wrote, "To believe Allah to be free from time, place, form, and being is a composite innovation." Izahul Haq, Ismail Dehelwi. Physical features of Salafi God. The information on the physical features of sky god provided by Salafi scholars does not include the following. 1. Whether their sky god's body is made up of bones, flesh and blood like humans/animals, or is made up of mud or metal. 2. Ibn Taymiyyah once physically showed to the people that their sky god walks like human beings. If their sky god can walk like human beings and is not physically handicapped, then why does he have limitation of movements and is unable to come near human beings? 3. If he is like human beings, then they should provide some more information in this context. We asked many Salafi, Deobandi, Ikhwan, and other scholars about these details, but almost all of them answered in negative, saying that their God's body, shape, and physical parts are known to him only. Well, we all know, this is self-denial and an attempt to run away from the truth to avoid embarrassment. Since they claim to know so many physical features of their sky god, and have managed to misinterpret so many Quranic verses and Hadith to support their claims, they should be able to tell some more details as well, by misinterpreting some more Quranic verses and Hadith. We hope Salafi scholars will attempt this and add more physical features to their sky god. Since we wanted to find out how and when the thought of an idolized sky god with physical features originated in Salafis' minds, we did a comprehensive research on this subject based on Salafi literature. We studied the history of Salafi movement, the history of Saudi royal family, prominent writings of Christian and Jew scholars on this subject, and latest trends in Saudi Salafi society. We also studied the beliefs of ancient people of Arabian Peninsula and the beliefs of Meccan pagans and their ancestors. Our research has resulted in some astonishing findings. We would like to share these findings with our readers in this book. The National Museum of Saudi Arabia was opened in Riyadh in 1999 to celebrate centenary, 100-year, of Saudi occupation of Arabian Peninsula. It was designed by Moriyama and Teshima Planners, Canada. Among other ancient artifacts, the museum houses ancient idol gods which were worshipped by Saudi ancestors. These idols are reported to have been found by Saudis in archaeological sites in the kingdom. Carved in stone, this idol god is considered to be 4,000 years BC. It is given extraordinary importance and focus in Riyadh Museum, as well as in Saudi archaeological exhibitions in the world. Courtesy www.thenational.ie. The idol was placed in the first gallery of Arabian Routes exhibition, Paris, France, during July 16 to September 27, 2010. The Arabian Routes exhibition was later shifted to La Caixa, Barcelona, Spain, during November 4, 2010 to February 6, 2011. In Spain also, this ancient idol god was provided with special focus of attention by Saudi organizers. The Arabian Routes exhibition is reported to be held in many cities of the world since then. In 1944, G. Cotton Thompson discovered this idol in southern Saudi Arabian excavation, which is considered to be the moon god of pagans, also known as Hubal. This was confirmed by well-known archaeologists like Richard Luke Barenbauer Jr. and Frank P. Albright. Archaeological Discoveries in South Arabia, Baltimore. Johns Hopkins University Press, 1958, p.78 ff, and Ray Cleveland. An Ancient South Arabian Necropolis, Baltimore, Johns Hopkins University Press, 1965. Nelson Gluck, Deities and Dolphins, New York, Farrar Straus Giroux, 1965. In the 1950s, a major moon god temple was excavated at Hazar, Palestine. 2 idols of the moon god were found. Each was an idol sitting upon a throne with a crescent moon carved on his chest. The accompanying inscriptions make it clear that these were idols of the moon god. Several smaller idols were also found which were identified by their inscriptions as the daughters of the moon god, popularly known as Al-Lat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. The preservation and display of archaeological heritage is the most important aspect of Saudi government policy for the past 100 years. The idols worshipped by Saudi ancestors are preserved for their future generations as important specimens of Saudi Arabian culture and tradition. The Saudi Department of Museums and Antiquities has undertaken the task of excavating, classifying, and maintaining the idols worshipped by Saudi ancestors. Courtesy Arab News. The Department of Archaeology at King Saud University in Riyadh is also an important institution which preserves ancient heritage of Saudi Arabia. The most important restoration work of Najd was undertaken was at Diriyah, Najd, the ancestral home of Saudi kings. Tarit is an island, for square kilometers in radius, in Arabian Gulf near Al-Qatif, Najd. Several archaeological sites have been recorded around this island showing evidences of idol worship in ancient Najd. We have provided below an interesting observation of a Saudi national who visited Abdul Rauf Khalil Museum in Jeddah in April 2010. It is taken from his social media account in 2010. Quote, "I got the chance to visit Abdul Rauf Khalil Museum a few days ago as part of a conference organized by Dar al-Hekmah. We listened while the tour guide took us around the Saudi ward, explaining certain incidents and stating facts. Something bothered me though, so I decided to ask her about it. I asked, is Hijaz region considered a Saudi land under the reign of the kings of the Third Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, present government? Yes. What about Janub, southern region? Yes, Janub, Shamal, northern region, and Sharq, eastern region. So why does the word named Saudi heritage only contain naughty cultural items? I spent half an hour trying to understand why naughty heritage was labeled as Saudi heritage, whereas Saudi Arabia includes Najd, Hijaz, Janub, Shamal, and Sharq among other regions. So after I finished, the tour guide said, "Do you know what? You are absolutely right. But we are not allowed to say this." And I literally stood there speechless for a minute trying to apprehend what the guide had just said. Not allowed. I asked, why not? Because we don't want to upset anyone. Now, this sentence really got me thinking. Unquote. Significance of idol gods worshipped by Saudi ancestors. What is the significance of idols which were worshipped by Saudi ancestors? Some people may say that Saudis want to showcase their ancestral idol worship and cultural history by preserving the idols found in kingdoms' archaeological excavations. Every nation preserves its heritage. There is nothing wrong in it. If we accept the above argument, then Saudi should have also preserved the vast Islamic heritage destroyed by them in Arabian Peninsula, particularly in Hijaz. The current preservation of so-called Islamic heritage by Saudi government is selective, which does not contain anything related to Prophet Muhammad, his family, and Sahaba. Why Saudis destroyed everything related to Islam, especially the relics of Prophet Muhammad and Sahaba, their mosques, houses, and other important traces of Islam. Was it not the cultural heritage of Saudi Arabia? Not only they destroyed the house of Prophet Muhammad in Mecca, where he lived 28 years with his family. In an attempt to disrespect him, they built a public toilet on it. As a matter of fact, they destroyed the entire geography of Siratun Nabi. While destroying the important Islamic heritage, they claimed that people give respect to the relics of Prophet Muhammad and Sahaba. This is an alibi and deception. They know that the respect of Prophet's relics is the practice of all Sahaba and is part of Islamic faith. Read our books in this context. The respect, importance, and display of their ancestral idols in magnificent air-conditioned archaeology museums is clear-cut evidence that idols of their ancestral gods are more important to them than the relics of Prophet Muhammad. As a matter of fact, the house of Prophet Muhammad in Mecca was so bad for them that they not only destroyed it, but built a public toilet on it. They openly say that preservation of Prophet's relics, his houses, the houses of Sahaba, their old mosques, and even their sacred graves is shirk, but preservation of idols worshipped by their forefathers is their important responsibility towards their future generations. Prophet Muhammad destroyed all 360 idols kept in Kaaba and ordered Muslims to refrain from idol worship in all its formats. If Saudis found an idol in an archaeology site, they should have destroyed it then and there itself, because this was ordered by Prophet Muhammad. How come Saudi government is preserving and protecting their ancestral idol gods and displaying them in huge museums, which look like magnificent temples built for their future generations? The importance and reverence given in displaying idols gods worshipped by Saudi ancestors at magnificent centralized museums in major cities points towards a strong trend in Saudi society, since they are very much concerned about the protection and preservation of idols worshipped by their forefathers. There is a strong possibility that soon Salafi scholars will issue fatwas to preserve and display these idols at the most secured, sacred, protected, and centralized place in the kingdom, that is, Kaaba, and the old story of Kaaba is repeated once again in Arabian Peninsula. The above observation may look strange to some readers, but when you read about the lavish and lustful life and unthinkable moral corruption of royals and the rich in Saudi Arabia, it will be easier for you to compare them with pagan lords of Prophet's time who preserved and displayed 360 idol gods in Kaaba. As a matter of fact, the pagan lords can come nowhere near the modern royals and the rich of Salafi society in any deed you compare between them. The origin of the Salafi God. The word Allah is made up of two syllables, al and ilah. Al means the and ilah means God. When these two syllables, which are the two units of the pronunciations, are combined, the letter I becomes silent and al-ilah becomes Allah. It is a known fact that the name Allah was known to people before the advent of Prophet Muhammad. It is in Hadith, narrated by Hadrat Abdur Rahman ibn Zayd ibn Aslam from his father, who narrates it from his grandfather from Hadrat Umar ibn al-Khattab, Marfu'an and Mawqufan alayh, that when Prophet Adam said, "O Lord, I ask you for the sake of Muhammad, by Hakim Muhammad, to forgive me." He Allah Azawajal said, "How did you know Muhammad?" He said, "Because when you created me with your hands and blew into me from your spirit, I raised my head, and I saw on the legs of your throne written, La ilaha illallah Muhammadu Rasulullah, so I knew you would not put next to your name except the one who is the most beloved to you." He said, "You have said the truth, O Adam alayhis salam, and if it were not for Muhammad, I would not have created you. Lala Muhammadan Makalaktuk." Ibn Taymiyyah quoted the above hadith, which is narrated by Al-Hakim in his Mustadrak, from the hadith of Abdullah bin Muslim al-Fari radiyallahu anhu, from Ismail bin Salama radiyallahu anhu. And Hakim said, and it is the first hadith I have mentioned from Abdur Rahman in this book. And Hakim says that is Sahih. It is related by Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Ajuri in the book Ash-Shariah Mawqufan on Umar from hadith. Abdullah bin Ismail bin Abi Maryam Mawqufan from Abdur Rahman bin Zayd bin Aslam. Prophet's father name was Abdullah radiyallahu anhu, which means the servant of Allah, which means that Makkans knew about the name Allah before the advent of Prophet Muhammad. Before the advent of Prophet Muhammad, there were 360 idol gods kept in Kaaba. Hubal was considered to be greatest of them all. Some Christian and Jewish scholars have described Hubal as pagans' moon god. These scholars have mentioned that, as per pagans, beliefs Hubal was married to a sun goddess, and together they produced 3 daughters, 1. Al-Lat, 2. Al-Uzza, and 3. Menet, who were considered as intercessors for Hubal. When we study pagans' history before the advent of Prophet Muhammad, we realize that pagans knew about Allah as supreme God, as they were the descendants of Prophet Ibrahim alayhis salam and Ismail alayhis salam. It is in Quran, if you ask them who created them, that they would surely say Allah. Surah Az-Zukhruf 87. But they believed that Allah was a sky god with human-like limbs who is sitting over the skies. They made a replica of their imaginary sky god and named it Hubal, and considered that Hubal represented their sky god in physical looks, and that worship of Hubal was actually the worship of their sky god. This is the reason Hubal was considered as the greatest of all idol gods by Maccan pagans. They were scared of Hubal, therefore, they used to sacrifice animals and pour the blood on the idol to please him. When Prophet Muhammad explained to pagans, and to the whole world, the reality of Allah, the creator of this cosmos, the pagans objected, because the concept of Allah as explained by Prophet Muhammad did not match with their concept of sky god. Though they considered their sky god as supreme, but they held other gods in great reverence because they considered them to be responsible for various works in the cosmos. They believed that other idol gods had special status, and thus could intercede with their sky god or Hubal for them. It is in Quran, we only worship them so that they may bring us closer to Allah. Surah Zumar 3. Factual Tawheed explained by Prophet Muhammad. It is in Quran, there is nothing is like him, and he is all-hearer and all-seer. Surah Ash-Shura 11. It is in Hadith, Prophet said, there was Allah and nothing existed but him. He existed from eternity and there was nothing else. Bukhari by Haki. The above hadith rejects the pagan faith. It is important for a physical body to have a place to exist. When Allah existed, there was nothing, no sky, no universe, then where was he sitting? There has to be place for a body to exist. The hadith clarifies that Allah's existence is pure from the consideration of a body, form, shape, sitting, standing, etc. Prophet Muhammad destroyed all 360 idols of Kaaba and established that Allah is free from the considerations of shape, body, form, dwelling, and other limitations. We have written many books on Islamic belief about Allah. Everyone should read these books to know facts in this context. It is in Quran. Say, O Muslims, we believe in Allah and that which has been sent down to us and that which has been sent down to Ibrahim, alayhis salam, Ishmael, Ismail, alayhis salam, Isaac, Ishaq, alayhis salam, Jacob, Yaqub, alayhis salam, and to Al-Asbat, the 12 sons of Jacob, Yaqub, alayhis salam. And that which has been given to Moses, Musa, alayhis salam, and Jesus, Isa, alayhis salam, and that which has been given to the prophets from their Lord. We make no distinction between any of them, and to him we have submitted in Islam. Al-Baqarah 136. The spread of Islam was very fast during the 10 years of Prophet's stay in Medina. Though the whole Arabia had become Muslim before the death of Prophet Muhammad, there were some hypocrites, munafiqun, during the time of Prophet Muhammad and during the caliphate of rightly guided caliphs and beyond, who stayed at their old pagan sky god beliefs. Since idols were destroyed by Prophet Muhammad, they could not make new idols for worship, but continued with their belief in mind that their sky god has a physical body. They started misinterpreting verses of Quran to prove legitimacy of paganism, which was later termed as Wahabism Salafism. They imposed all Quranic verses on Prophet Muhammad, Sahaba, Awliya Allah, which were actually lent for Meccan pagans, and made an all-out effort to pull Muslims away from Islam into paganism. By doing so, they claimed they were purifying Islam. It is in Quran, "Do not worship besides Allah that which cannot help or harm you." Surah Al-Anbiya 66. It is in Quran, "Those on whom you call besides Allah are only slaves like yourself." Surah Al-Araf 194. While explaining the above verses and similar other verses of Quran, they claim that if someone calls Prophet Muhammad, Sahaba, or Awliya Allah for help or requests them to pray Allah for their help, it is shirk. We all know that Quranic chapters/verses delivered in Mecca are primarily meant for Meccan pagans. The verses mentioned above are taken from chapters Al-Anbiya and Al-Araf, both of which were delivered in Mecca. Therefore, these verses are meant for Meccan pagan idol gods and their prominent ancestors to whom they used to call for help associating divinity with them. These verses are not meant to be imposed on Prophet Muhammad, Sahaba, or Awliya Allah. Similar is the case with other verses and Hadith Salafis misquote to fool innocent people. This is their popular way of misleading innocent Muslims in their massive Da'i campaigns around the globe. It is in Quran, "Your guardian or solver of grievances can only be Allah and His Messenger and those who believe, who establish Salah and pay zakat and bow down in prayer." Surah Al-Ma'idah 55. The above verse clearly establishes that Allah is the guardian and solver of grievances of people. In addition, Prophet Muhammad is also the guardian and solver of grievances of people in the sense that Allah listens to his prayers more than anyone else. Similarly, Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ajmeen and Awliya Allah are also guardians and solvers of grievances of people in the sense that their dua is answered faster than the dua of sinful Muslims. We have written many books explaining the above issues. Readers may read them. It will help them in staying on Sahih Iman. The people of Arabia who believed in pagan Tawheed were in minority throughout the history of Islam, therefore, could not do much to influence Muslims. However, Prophet Muhammad had prophesied that these people will come back to power before Qiyamah and create a great tribulation, fitna, in Muslim Ummah. It is in Hadith, a person with eyes protruding, with a long beard and head clean-shaven, named Zulqawazaraho, was from the tribe of Banu Tamim, came to the Prophet Muhammad and declared, "O Muhammad, fear Allah." The Prophet replied, "If I disobey Allah, then who else will obey him? I am obedient to Allah at all times and never disobedient. Allah has sent me as Amin, honest for the entire world, but you don't accept me as an honest man?" A Sahabi, Hadrat Umar radiyallahu anhu, became infuriated and sought permission to remove him from the presence of the Prophet. The Prophet prevented him from doing so. After the person had left, the Prophet said, "From his progeny, descendants, will rise a group who will recite the Holy Quran, but it will not go below their throats. They will leave the deen, Islam, just as an arrow leaves the bowstring. They will kill Muslims, but spare the idolaters. If I ever confronted these people, I would slaughter them just as the people of Ad had been destroyed." Mishkat, page 535. Since Ibn Abdul Wahhab also belonged to Banu Tamim, therefore, as per the above hadith, he is indeed from the descendants of Zulqawazara. There cannot be two opinions in this context. Imam Bukhari has quoted this hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, that Prophet once prayed for Syria and Yemen. It is narrated that there were some people of Najd also present in the gathering, and they requested the Prophet to make supplication, dua, for Najd also. Prophet continued saying, "Oh, Allah, shower blessings on Syria and Yemen." The people of Najd again requested the Prophet to offer prayers for Najd. Prophet said, "It is a place of tremor and mischief, fitna, and the horn of shaitan will rise from there." Bukhari, Volume 2. The Arabic word used in the above hadith is qarnish shaitan, horn of Satan, which indeed refers to Ibn Abdul Wahhab. As per Prophet's prophesy, this tribulation has gradually swept the entire world during the past 100 years. Millions of Muslims have become victims of this movement. Similarity of Salafi and pagan beliefs about God. The facts mentioned above will clarify the doubts of many people. They will understand the reasons behind the love and preservation of ancient idol gods in Saudi Arabia for the past 100 years. The pagans, in the guise of Wahabism/Salafism, continued with their pre-Islamic beliefs all along the history of Islam and did not become part of the mainstream Islam. The moment they got power, they showed their true colors. The destruction of Islamic heritage in their hands is a proof of their paganism. No one can destroy the house of their own prophet and build a public toilet on it if they are his true followers. This is the distinction of Saudi Salafis in the entire history of mankind. Their acts against the Prophet show that they consider him as their enemy who had displaced them from their religion, though they cannot declare it openly, fearing Muslim backlash in the world. They recite Durud whenever Prophet's name is uttered to show to the world that they accept him as Prophet, but behind the scene, they have eliminated every single trace that reminds people of his life, Sirah, and his family. They equate him with sinful human beings and never lose an opportunity to downgrade his respect from people's mind. They impose all Quranic verses on him which were actually meant for their idol gods and claim that after death, the Prophet cannot listen or help his people. For them, there is no difference between the death of Prophet and death of a mushrik, as, they claim, both cannot listen to people after death. Their respect of Kaaba, their Hajj, and their modified Salah, their fasting, animal sacrifice, all these deeds, they consider as continuation of pagan traditions, because Hajj was performed, as per their traditions, before the advent of Prophet Muhammad. They consider paganism is real Islam, which should be re-established in the world. Masjid-e-Haram has been renovated, expanded many times during the reign of Sa'ds, but nowhere there is name Muhammad inscribed/written by them. On the door of Kaaba, there is a Kalima Tayyiba which was written during Ottoman Caliphate. Sa'ds even tried to tamper with it, as they did on the Raudatur Rasul. But Saudi kings' names are inscribed boldly on the cover of Kaaba and doors of Masjid-e-Haram, like Bab al-Malik Fahd. Innocent Muslims are made fool by Salafis. They have tried in a systematic manner to erase everything related to Prophet Muhammad from Arabian Peninsula and establish their old pagan religion in the name of Islam. It is in Hadith, narrated by Imam Ahmed radiallahu anhu in his Musnad, from Al-Numan ibn Bashir radiallahu anhu. The Apostle of Allah Prophet Muhammad said, "Prophethood will be among you as long as Allah wishes. Then he will lift it up when he wishes to lift it up. Then there will be caliphate on the way of the prophethood, Khilafati, Rashida, and it will be as long as Allah wishes. Then Allah will lift it up when he wishes to lift it up. Then there will be inheritance rule, king's rule, and it will last as long as Allah wishes. Then Allah will lift it up when he wishes to lift it up. Then there will be coercive rule, dictatorships, and it will last as long as Allah wishes. Then Allah will lift it up when he wishes to lift it up. Then there will be caliphate on the way of prophethood, Ahmed." Then Prophet Muhammad was silent. Ahmed, Hadith number 18430. Salafis cannot deny the above hadith as their trusted scholar Albani has described it as Sahih. As per the above hadith, there shall be an Islamic rule as per the way of prophethood again in the world in which people will live in peace, and there will be justice to all
this
and
audiobook is
injustice to
completed
none.
here. If you want us to continue uploading authentic Islamic audiobooks, so please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any suggestions or recommendations, you can tell us in comments. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.